Welcome to another session of math. In this session, we are going to see how to teach them place values. Place values in math is a very important concept. It involves language and it also involves a lot of calculation. So, what is the language that is involved? Children need to know what is meant by units, what is meant by tens and what is meant by hundreds, and later on they also need to understand what is thousands and 10,000s and maybe even lakhs and 10 lakhs and crores and 10 crores once they go to class 3, 4. But when we introduce units, tens and hundreds. Now, we need to make them, there are two things that we need to have in mind when we teach them place value. One, which is the smallest, which is the next and which is the biggest between units, tens and hundreds. And another one that we definitely need to teach them is the placement of each and everything. What do I mean by saying placement? By placement I mean the units is left in that corner, followed by tens and then followed by hundreds. Here we need to understand that it is not very easy for children because math orientation is very different from orientation of reading English or other languages. When they read English and other languages, the orientation starts from left, but as far as math is concerned, as far as place value is concerned, is when we change the orientation and we move to the rightmost one. That means the children should start looking at numbers from the rightmost one and then move slowly on to the left side. Now, look at this one. This looks very tiny. Then we have the rods which looks a little bigger, and then we have the cube which is big. Now, when we look at the tiny one over here, the small cube, we call it units. Then this represents the tens and this represents the hundreds. Put them in like this and then call out say either ones, tens or hundreds. Just in case you say tens, the child has to pull out a tens rod from here and place it. The minute you say hundreds, the child has to take one from here and place it. The minute you say units, the child has to go to this one, take it and place it here. By doing this, then the child understands that the smallest one is called as units, the next one is the tens followed by the hundreds. Not only that, by making the child position it this way, they also learn that this is how they start calculating or looking into it when they have to start working out sums based on place value. The next concept that we need to teach children is that 10 units will give you 1 tens. Ask children to take a handful of units. Don't ask them to take just 10, let them take a little more than 10. Let them place it over the tens. But please do not encourage them to count as and when they place, because these are tiny ones. When they place it on the tens, there is a possibility that one of it will fall down. So, they might miss on the counting part of it. So, let them first place them on the tens and once they reach here, there might be a couple of children who will try placing in one more. But what will happen? They won't be able to place it. It will just keep falling down. Once it happens, then ask the children to collect those units or ones that they have not used and put it aside. Now, let's ask them to remove the coins and make them count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. 10 what? 10 of ones were placed on what? 1 tens. So, 10 ones or 10 units will give you 1 tens. So, the concept of 10 units or 10 ones will give you 1 tens is explained using a manipulative. This is a very, very important concept because your carryover addition and your borrowing and subtraction is based on this concept. You can do the same for 10 tens, that will give you 1 hundreds too. Now, after we put across the concept that 10 units will give 1 tens and 10 tens will give 1 hundreds, let us play a small exchange game which will make them ready to do carryover addition and borrowing and subtraction very easily. Now, the teacher or another student can be the banker, and one student can take a few units from the bank, a few tens from the bank, and maybe a couple of hundreds from the bank. The game is very simple. Every time they have 10 of one particular unit of value, they can give it to the bank and exchange it. Ask the child to start from the units. Make them count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Once they have 10 units, what is it that they can do? They can give it to the bank. And what will the bank give you? 1 tens, because 10 units will give you 1 tens. And where will you place it? Where will the child place it? The child will place it along with the tens. Now, make the child count the number of tens that they have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means they have only 6 and they can't give it to a bank and exchange. Just in case you have only 4 over here or maybe 3 over here and you want a little more in your tens place, what can you ask the child to do? Take 1 hundreds and give it to the bank. The minute you have 1 hundreds, then the banker will count or convert it into tens. How many tens? 10 tens. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, and put it along with the tens. The child learns that every time they have 10 in the units place, it can be given and they will get 1 tens which has to be put along with the tens. So, this way they sort of get ready to do sums based on addition and subtraction. Now, the children are ready with the concepts. They have understood the concept. Sometimes it will so happen that they might understand the concept, but might still struggle to work out sums to find out place value. So, we are going to give them something like a semi-concrete clue. So, what do I mean by saying semi-concrete clue? I just use some sort of maybe color coding, maybe some drawing which will help them to work out or calculate based on that. So, what we are going to do is, we are going to start off with a tiny little caterpillar. The tiny little caterpillar that we are going to draw will have 3 sections. But caterpillar, being a caterpillar, is going to grow. Once it grows, it will always have 2 sections. So, what happened to the caterpillar here? The caterpillar has grown, but how many sections does it have? 2. Just in case if the caterpillar grows even bigger, what is it going to have? How many sections? 2 sections. But let us say that it grows even bigger than this. How many sections? 2 sections. So, what is it that we are trying to tell children, or what is the orientation that we are giving children? We are only telling them indirectly that the last 3 will form one group as far as numbers are concerned, because units, tens and hundreds together will form a group. It will be followed by thousands and 10,000s, lakhs and 10 lakhs, crores and 10 crores. Okay. So, in our Indian number system, this is how we sort of group numbers together. So, we are going to use the same thing to help children to do a lot of calculations and lot of workings based on place value, expanded form, number dictation, everything. When you start, do not give numbers. You just draw a caterpillar and ask the children to just mark the sections. This is a tiny little caterpillar. How many sections will it have? 3. Please ask them to mark. And if the caterpillar grows, just add 2 more sections to it, or make them add 2 more sections, and ask them to make this caterpillar even bigger, and ask them to add the sections. Right. Here we are not going to talk about naming the each and every section, nor are we going to put in numbers. This will be step 1. Step 2 will be just to take the tiny little caterpillar, but we are going to concentrate on naming each and every section. Now, the child knows the last one is units, the next one is tens, and then the hundreds. Right. So, now when we give them numbers and when we ask them to find out the place value, they just draw a caterpillar around it and they are able to find out the place value very easily. Let us take 3 or 4 numbers and then let us see if it will help them to find out the place value. First, in 474, what is the place value? Of 7. Now, ask them to draw a caterpillar, ask them to name it, and ask them to just fill in the numbers. 4, 7, 4. Now, what is the place value of 7? In which section do you see it? In the tens. So, the place value of 7 is 7 tenths. Just in case, we instead of 474, we say 309, and what is the place value of 3? All that they need to do is just fill in the numbers inside the caterpillar, go on to the naming part of it. What is the name that we have given for 3? Hundredths. So, the place value of 3 is 3 hundredths. So, it is very easy for children to find out the place value using this caterpillar. Is that the only use of caterpillar? No, it is very simple for them to write in expanded form too using the caterpillar. Let us take the same, let us take the number 399 or maybe 389. And we will see how to write it in expanded form. Now, let us go into the next one. Find the place value of 3 in 309. So, ask them to just draw the caterpillar first, cut it into 3 sections because there are 3 units, tens, hundreds. Please make sure that they start filling in the numbers from the units, because in math your calculation always starts from the units column. 903. Now, what is the place value of 3 over here? Look at the name that we have given for that house or that section. It is hundreds. So, the place value of 3 is 3 hundredths. Is this the only use of caterpillar? No, caterpillar can be used even to write in expanded form. So, let us just take a number and see how caterpillar helps us to do expanded form very easily. So, let us take 379. Now, by this time the child knows very well that they can draw a caterpillar, or the child is trained to draw a caterpillar, and it is a tiny caterpillar. So, how many sections will it have? 3. Ask the children to mark them, units, tens, hundreds. Ask them to fill in the numbers 9, 7, 3. Now, when they start writing in expanded form, ask them to write the number as it is. Count the number of sections after that. After 3, how many sections are there? 2. So, they put so many zeros. After which they come to this vertical bar or this vertical line. Whenever they come to the vertical line, they put a plus sign. What is the number that they see after that? 7. How many sections after that? 1. So, how many zeros should they add? 1 0. And where are they? Near the vertical line. So, what is the sign that they have to put? Plus. What is the number that you see there? 9. So, make them bring it down. So, expanded form becomes very, very easy. Let us take one more number and see how to do it. Let us take 263. So, what is the first thing that the child is to be asked to do? Draw a caterpillar. And what is the next step? Put in the sections. What is the step 3? Name them units, tens, hundreds. Ask them to fill in the numbers 3, 6, 2. Now, the first thing is done. What is it that they have to do next? Ask them to bring the number down. How many sections are there after that? 2. So, how many zeros will they add? 2. Where are they? They have come to the vertical line. So, once they come to this vertical line, they have to put a plus. Which is the number that they need to bring down now? 6. How many houses or sections after that? 1. So, what should they do? They have to add 1 0 and they have come to this vertical line. What is it that they need to do? Put a plus. And what is the last number that you see? 3. Is there any section or a house after that? No. So, that is the end of it. So, your expanded form gets very, very simple. Now, the next thing that we expect children to do is we give some expanded form and we want the children to write in short form. Does it help us to write in short form too? Yes, it definitely does. Let us take a given expanded form and let us see how to put it in short form. Look at the given sum. It is 300 plus 80 plus 5 and the children are expected to write it as 385. There are some children who might write it like this. Especially our SLD children. How are we going to help them overcome this difficulty? Let us see. Let us call our little tiny caterpillar. Let us see if the caterpillar is going to help these children. Right. I have drawn a tiny little caterpillar. What is step number 2? I am going to name the houses or the sections. Lovely. Now, let us start from the last number. The last one that you see over there is 5. Ask them to write it here. Every time it is a number other than 0, it will jump into the house. So, where will the 5 go? Into the units place. What is the next one that you see over here? 0, 8. Which is the one which is not a 0? 8. So, it will jump into the house. Which is the other one that is written there? So, which is the number that will go inside and sit inside the section or the house? 3. Yeah, doesn't look like a caterpillar. Let's make it look like a nice caterpillar by just drawing these 2 antennas and a couple of legs. Okay. Idea is not how to not to make it look like a caterpillar, but just to help them do sums based on this expanded form and short form. Now, look at this sum. It is 400 plus 9. That means there is nothing in the tens column. So, the common mistake that most of our children do is they write it as 4009. Is there a way of helping them overcome this difficulty? Yes, our tiny little caterpillar is definitely going to help them overcome this difficulty. So, let us see how to draw a tiny little caterpillar and then do this sum. As usual, draw the caterpillar, name the various sections, and this time let us definitely make it look like a caterpillar. Yes. So, the first number is 9, 9 is not a 0. So, it will jump inside the house or the section, and the next one that I need to start working is 0, 0, 4. So, what will happen to the 4? It will jump inside the house like this, right. But please remember, now no house or no section can be left empty. So, the child fills this with 0. So, the final answer 9 is equal to 409. Can we take one more number and do it? Here we have left the units column, we have not given any number in the units column. It is 300 plus 70. Again, let us draw a tiny caterpillar. Mark the sections, name them, and start filling it from the last. What will happen to the 7? It will jump inside the section or the house. Which is the next one? What will happen to the 3? It will go and sit inside the house, but we can't leave any house empty. So, what should I fill this up with? 0. So, my final answer is this 370. But when you give instructions to children, please make sure that you tell them to take the number other than 0 to the house right above them and not to the other ones that they see on the right side or on the left side. So, this way caterpillar can be used first to find out the place value, also to write in expanded form and in short form too. Now, next one of the questions that we normally give children after we introduce thousands, 10,000 is give them a big number and ask them to write in Indian form or the Indian system. So, let us see if caterpillar is going to help them do that too. Let us take a number. Let us take numbers like 1, here when a child is asked to write the number using Indian system, they have to put commas at the appropriate places. That is what it means. So, let us call a caterpillar, maybe a slightly bigger one over here because you have more than 3 digits, but it is definitely going to help them to put commas at the appropriate places. Now, let them write the number as it is. Ask them to draw a caterpillar around the number. They know the last one will have 3. After that, it will grow in 2s. So, they put it like this and then like this. So, they have drawn a caterpillar around the entire number that has been given. All that they need to do is bring the number below as it is, and wherever they see a joint in the body, it becomes a comma. 5, 4 is brought down, and after that they see a joint in the body of the caterpillar, they put a comma and then write 7, 6 and 5. So, writing the number however big it may seem in Indian system becomes very easy once they draw a caterpillar around the number. How do they get this orientation of caterpillar growing in 2's after the last 3 digit. We have already taught them initially when we made them just draw the caterpillar without the number. So, drawing caterpillar, using caterpillar will help them to find out the place value, will help them to write in expanded form, will help them to write in short form, will also help them to write the numbers using in Indian system. If you notice something, when we filled in or when we started naming, we used it or we started from the rightmost. But when we started doing the expanded form, we started from the leftmost. But that is how math is. They have to keep changing the orientation. If you look at multiplication, multiplication will start from the rightmost, whereas division will start from the leftmost. So, that is why math sometimes looks a little difficult, but once we do it again and again, the children will definitely overcome this difficulty. Thank you so much.